Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So today in this video I want to talk about getting married young because I have a lot of friends who have gotten married young, a lot of friends who are very skeptical of the idea of it, and I wish that when I was 19 years old and I got engaged that I could have had someone who looked at me and said, "You aren't weird for feeling like you're mature enough to make this step," and I wish there weren't people who are so skeptical of me and so skeptical of the decision that I was making. And so I just sort of want to be that voice to you right now. If you're in that place, keep on watching and kind of hear what I have to say, but I want to encourage you that you're not crazy, you're not too young, and you shouldn't feel inferior for the decisions you're making for your life. So, if you are interested in hearing more, let's get into it. So this video, this is a hard one for me to make. Not for the reason you're thinking, but because I want to make sure that I am being kind to everyone. I've got a lot of friends who are in a different stage than me.
I have friends who are single and still in school. I have friends who are single and out of school. I have friends who are in a relationship and still in school, in a relationship and out of school. I have friends who are married and still in school, friends who are married and out of school.
And so I've got friends the whole spectrum of everyone, and so I just want to make sure that no one thinks that what I did in my life is the only and the right decision, because it was right for me, but it's not necessarily right for everyone. So I just want to make that little disclaimer. I've got a couple of things I want to tap in on, and I'm going to try to make this pretty quick. So first off, age. I was 19 when I got engaged, which meant I was 20 when I got married. And so there were a lot of my classmates who were very skeptical because I came back into my junior year of college with a big ring on my finger, and a lot of classmates who were just like, "What is she doing? Like, you're a junior. You graduate in 2 years. Why are you getting married? Why are you doing this?" And I even had some who were just skeptical and kind of rude and assumed I was going to just drop out of school and that I didn't care about who I was going to be as a professional someday. I did have some friends who were very encouraging because they knew us and they knew our relationship. And so, for some people it's the right decision, for some it's not, and for me it was. And so, I don't think I was too young because I knew who I was secure in our relationship. And on top of that, we both loved each other, knew how to communicate, and didn't want to postpone not being husband and wife. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think what's so funny is it's like, why are you going to put that off? If you love each other and you want to spend your life with the other person, stop talking. Like, make an action. Show with action that I'm going to marry you. I'm not going to just say it because, I want to get intimate with you. And I'm not going to say it because we're in a romantic setting. You say it when you mean it. And so, I think for my husband and I, we both knew very early on in our relationship that we wanted to get married. So, age. I kind of touched on school a little bit. So the only thing I want to talk about is people who think you can't do schoolwork and be married and it's too much work. So when we were dating, it was really, really hard because, you need a plan time to do your schoolwork and plan time to see each other. And so the perk about being married is you don't have to plan when you see each other. It's so nice because you would just get home and be like, "I'm doing my schoolwork now." And there would be no question of, am I spending enough time with them? Am I investing in this conversation? It's like,
Hey, I've got schoolwork.
and so schoolwork was very easy whilst engaged and whilst married. I was in school for 1.5 years after getting married, and it was probably the easiest semesters of my entire college career. So finances. When we got married, my husband had graduated from school already and had a job. So we never really had that initial marital struggle because we're both very young and don't have jobs and don't have funding. We also had very encouraging and supportive parents who I know would help us if we needed it. And so that's not really everyone's situation, but for us that was ours. But if you're worried about finances, just remember that when you're married, you have someone who's accountable to you and accountable for you. And so especially when it comes to making a budget and spending, it's really helpful having someone there to be like, "Hey, stop going to Sephora." Whereas when you're dating, you can hide that. And you probably shouldn't hide your finances while you're dating if you're having, those serious conversations of getting married. But it's really important to remember that it's a team, and, when you work together with someone, it makes the best result. So in regards to friendships and social life, we were always a couple that had really, really good couple friends, and that was who we really enjoyed hanging out with. But I really felt like a lot of my friendships grew. I was very intentional with my friendships because I had the security in my marriage. I feel like social life too, you know, when you're married, you're not going to go out and do the single life. That just doesn't really work. And so I think it's almost just refreshing sometimes being married and not having these pressures to go out to the bar, go out to the club and, you know, get all dressed up and find somebody. And if you're doing that while in a relationship, who are you doing that for? What are you looking for? I've just never understood that. Everyone has a different lifestyle and a different thing of what they enjoy to do, but for me that's just not it. So in getting married, it took a lot of those single life pressures off of me. So the other thing I want to touch on is prayer. So I believe that marriage is the most beautiful picture of love and commitment you can have on this earth. I don't believe there's a point in getting married if you're not doing it for the right reasons. If you're not going into it with the thought that divorce is not an option, why are you getting married? Unless there's a crazy scenario like you're being cheated on or abused or something like that. I don't really know how to touch on that because I've never been in that scenario. But I really think that, you know, marriage is a decision that you need to think about and pray about and realize that you're making a vow before people and before the Lord. And that's what marriage is. It's sacred and it's not something that's supposed to be a joke. And so if you're young and you're like, I really feel like this is the right decision for us, pray about it. Seek advice from those who are older than you and seek advice from peers who have been through the same thing. Go to a premarital counselor and make sure you've talked about the hard issues. I think that's the most important thing about getting married young is talk about things because finances are going to be hard. Make sure you're on the same page in regards to your physical expectations within marriage. And you know, on top of that, just love each other and be willing to communicate and don't be willing to compromise. Be willing to be selfless, which sometimes means not being selfish in a situation. It's not about winning and losing, and it's not about compromise. It's about sometimes, bless you, sometimes you need to choose to be selfless. I mean, sometimes I'm selfish when I'm like, babe, go get me coffee. That's a little bit selfish, but what do you think? Oh, and it is so much easier when you adopt your fur babies after you're married. So that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys want me to talk a little bit more in depth or with more detail, let me know. Like this video to let me know that you like videos like this, and please comment down below with any questions you have. Hit that subscribe button to stick around and see when I upload. I'm working on uploading 3 times a week, so that's kind of my goal. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Got married. Hi.